forever burns bright. They tried to claim her, to break her will, to shatter the walls that our hands had built. But her banner flies, her throne stands tall, with her leader to answer the call. Through storms and battle, we stand in her name. For what we have built, we'll never betray. With voice commanding and strength untamed, no power in the verse will put her in chains. Hellstern stands, sovereign and free, built by the blood of you and me. With iron will and steady hand, she reigns unchallenged, strong we stand. She is the fire, she is the fight. Hellstern forever burns bright. Every wreck we salvage, every blade we bear, every soul who joins us breathes her air. From deep in the black to the edge of the line, her name echoes, her stars align. Through the wreckage of war, her spirit remains unyielding, defiant through struggle and pain. She's not just a name, not just a fleet, she's the blood in our veins, the ground at our feet. Hellstern stands, sovereign and free, built by the blood of you and me. With iron will and steady hand, she reigns unchallenged, strong we stand. She is the fire, she is the fight. Hellstern forever burns bright. Her leader stands unshaken and true, guiding her people, the chosen few. Through the stars, her legend will ride. Hellstern eternal, burning inside.
All right, and we're live. Looks like I managed to make my last bite just under the wire. A couple seconds late.
Nice.
Sorry for the delays this afternoon, guys. OBS been giving me a trifle bit of trouble today. I'm sure I did not use that correctly, but that's all right. So welcome back to the Captain's Log podcast. Normally we start every Wednesday at 9. Today we're happy to make it on Wednesday.
Hello.
I've got a couple speakers with me today. I've got JD6, member of Hellstern, and Stompy, our fighter extraordinaire. Welcome,
Howdy.
guys. We'll have a few speakers coming in a few more minutes, I believe. They're just running a few minutes behind, but and I'll introduce them as they come in. Today, our topic, as is in the title, we're going to give a brief look to Alpha 4.1. We have some, yeah, I know. We have some notes that we're given by Xylo, and we're going to go through them. We're going to kind of take a look at some of the information. Let me just give you guys the link so you can read along. Copy. I'll go ahead and put it in this chat here. There you guys go. It's also in the member chat.
Thank you.
Anyways, guys, welcome to the podcast. If you are new here, this is something we do every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we talk about all different kinds of things around the verse. Sometimes it's things that have happened to us throughout the week, and sometimes it is things like this, where we go over some new stuff that's coming up, and we kind of give our own opinions on it, and kind of field some feedback to CIG if they ever come across this stream/podcast. And we don't beat around the bush. This stream is marked as not safe for children, so if you are watching with your kids in earshot, Just know that there's some vulgarity that may be slung around. Sorry, not may, will be slung around. And yeah, with that, let's get into it, guys. So let me see if I can get this pulled up real quick. 2 seconds. So I want to be able to show this on stream while we're talking about it.
The link should be in main chat where Mage posted it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get Nope, that's not it. Is that it?
I'll send
That
it to you
is it.
direct.
I've got it. I'm just trying to get it on stream. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Let me adjust these bounding boxes real quick. All right. That ought to do it. All right, so here we are. Make a small change. There we go. All right. So Alpha 4.1, first look at item recovery is the name of the post. This is found on Spectrum. This was posted by Xylo CIG. And basically he starts the post by saying we are preparing an Evocati test build for Alpha patch 4.1, which is cool. It's good to know that that's finally going into production. And they said that he refers back to CitizenCon 2954, which is last year's CitizenCon. And he's talking about the item recovery, right? So all those things that we spend money on in the game, such as the armors and the weapons and stuff like that, if we lose them, they're gone. As of right now, they're gone. There's no way to recover them unless you go out and you kill the person that took them from you and take them back.
Yeah.
So part of this is talking about how to get that stuff back. But it has implications towards everything in the verse, not just those items, which can be a problem. Hold on, let me just make sure mics are going. Mics look like they're... Okay, good. Sorry, I wanted to make sure we didn't get too far into this and we didn't have any audio and someone goes, hey, we can't hear you, after we've done like 3/4 of the podcast, but we're good.
You mean me?
Oh. Hey, here we go. Welcome to the show, Acid.
My comrades.
Welcome to the show. We're actually just getting started. Perfect timing.
Sweet.
So welcome Acid Puff to the show, guys. Acid, welcome.
Thanks, man.
Anytime.
Glad to be here, man.
So we're just kind of going over this post here. The post is linked in this channel if you want to pull that up. It's the post from Xylo about Alpha 4.1. So anyways, like I said,
oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So basically, we're talking about the changes that they're trying to make to the items that we purchase in the store, but it's going to affect everything, not just those items. And we're going to talk about the damaging repercussions that can have.
Yeah, I saw something about this morning, and I was like, oh. Well, then.
So they're preparing a Tier 0 rollout of this particular feature that they talked about in CitizenCon, as he says right here. The complete item recovery system will be far more robust and nuanced, making gear management and core gameplay elements... Okay, got it. I missed the A in there. But you guys get the picture. You can read it right there. Hold on. Do I have a chat? I do have a chat. Let me go ahead and see if I can post it in here so you guys can follow along if you can't read it on screen. There you guys go. All right. You'll be able to secure items that matter most while still allowing room for piracy and emergent gameplay. Okay, so that's their goal with the Tier 0. Problem is, if we read further into this, there are some problems that'll crop up which will make piracy a bit harder for us. I mean, everyone else.
Nothing new.
Right.
Sorry, we're not pirates. We're entrepreneurs and industrialists.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fucking Kira Knightley, dog. The what?
I am.
Excuse me, guys. I got a little bit of a runny nose. I have to sometimes run off and try and catch it and pull it back.
Just tell it to jog.
I told it to try and slow down. That um, the the flow rate's too much. But yeah. Anyways. So with the initial rollout of Item Recovery Alpha 4.1, internally referred to as Tier 0, you will respawn with the exact gear you had equipped at the time of death.
Nice.
Emphasis on the term equipped.
Equipped. Yeah.
That's basically like everything you have physically attached to you. Anything you have in your pockets, in your bag, all that's
Yeah.
fucked. You got to go get it. But if it's your loadout, it's saved.
So, like in terms of last night, I went to somewhere with some guns on my back and more guns in my backpack. And so, let's say this were implemented, then everything in my backpack, the guns I had in my backpack, somebody could take those. But they won't be able to take what I had on my backpack.
No, they will.
So they'll be able to take it, but I'll also get it back.
Yes, which makes this even worse because that means valuable items are going to be incredibly heavily duplicated, whether intended or not.
The other problem with that is just like what's the point of death of a spaceman down the road if you're gonna do shit like this? I thought they wanted to make death more consequential.
Well,
Like they
there's
think this is gonna stop criminality. Like you know how many fucking heavy-kitted criminals are about to go out and fucking rip shit in the verse? Like me? Like I don't kid up half the time. This will make me kid up always because fucking why not now? Like die to an asteroid, get my shit back. Die
well,
to a fucking server crash, get my shit back.
there's more to this, so we'll get deeper into it as we go because they talk about tier 0, tier 1, and tier 2 implementations and what they want to do with it as we read on. But
Okay.
so we'll
And it gets worse.
yeah, a little bit. So anyways, reading on, he says, as this is different from what you may have in your inventory. This includes equipped weapons, armor, magazines, med pens, ensuring that your core loadout is returned. However, items stored in your inventory, such as your backpack, I didn't realize backpack was your inventory. I thought that was a core loadout item. But
No,
I believe what he means to say is in your inventory, like your backpack, like the items in your backpack. Got it. So, or other containers will remain on your corpse, making them available for looting or retrieval. So this is partially good. This is partially bad. This is good for us because we keep our gear, although it doesn't speak about the weapon in our hand. As it is right now, when we die or get knocked out, even the gun drops to the ground. It's technically not a part of our loadout anymore. Do we get that back?
That's a good question.
That's a very important
Yes,
question
they'll
to
be
ask.
automatically stowed. They mentioned that in the thing.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
So
Well,
also it here it says that you won't be able to loot the stuff on the backpack. It says it will not be interactable, preventing item duplication. So whatever guns are on my backpack when I die, you can't take them away from me. That's what it says right there. So like in
Interesting.
my backpack, you can take it away, but my guns on my backpack, those are not interactable. So you will not be able to take those off of people who die.
yeah, it says so.
At
While
least in
equipped
tier
items,
0.
yeah, it says while equipped items will also remain on your corpse too. They will not be interactable, preventing item duplication while still preserving the visual state of your character at the time of death. So it makes sense. Basically, they're going to give you your shit back, but they want to make sure that the shit they're giving back isn't going anywhere else. Also, I guarantee you there's going to be exploits out the wazoo for this. The CIG will fuck up as per usual, and they will make sure that there's some kind of loophole or some kind of condition that they forgot to include in their code, or conveniently forgot. Who knows? I don't know their mindset, and I'm not going to try and suggest that they are intentionally adding these features in. Sorry, features. um, so, that being said, it makes sense that the armor is not interactable, and it also makes sense that basically this will allow us to kill someone, loot the comp boards that they may have been going after, and but nothing else. Like if they have a cool weapon, if they have like some cool mods, which Stompy, you're gonna love this because that means you can go kitted, to the brim with your tweaker and scorch shit all you want and not have to worry about losing it.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
I know. Now we can be an effective killing squad without having to spend billions on gear and equipment.
No risk, baby.
I
I know.
mean,
So
like, coming from the FPS background and coming from games where you have a loadout, and so like more like they take away the need to like get the loadout. I wasn't a big PUBG guy because you had to get you're pretty much naked, and I didn't like the concept of everything. Like I appreciate that that's a concept, but I wasn't into that. I like to be able to get out and go, which is also why I am into light fighters, and half the time I don't kit out. I like to get in, I like to go, make it easy on myself. This is one of those things that, like, as bad as it sucks, it is going to alleviate a shitload of time needed to do stuff. People are going to be able to game more and like dilly dally less, which
I
at the end of the day, like, isn't the worst thing. There are aspects of this that, like, in the day-to-day process of this game, like, yeah, it sucks and it's not going the way, but at the same time, like, I can appreciate that my time is going to be saved a little bit more, at least for a while. Like, depending on how things change down the long road. I'm not the most mad about it because also, like, I could give a fuck less if, like, people duplicate shit. And I also could give, like, people's kits to me are like the least important thing in the game. Like, I want to loot them, but like, I could give a fuck less about people's kits.
Yeah, it's probably icing on the cake.
Like, so I really don't care if people get to keep them or not. Like, I understand, but like, I'm not the most upset about this. I think this is cooler than it is worser, which worser isn't a word.
So Mageless puts in chat. He says it means that him and Artie can be dripped out 25-8, meaning
Exactly.
all the time.
That's it. And like, as a fighter pilot, you love to see this because that's the mentality of a fighter pilot: is you just want to get in and you want to fucking go. Now I can get in and go and always have the guns I love with me.
Problem is, and it's funny you brought up PUBG because that's actually a game that I actually kind of like, even still. Like, I mean, I don't play it near as often or anything like that, but I'm the kind of person that likes to go from zero to hero. And
Mhm.
even in the current contested zones, I will go in with just a white suit and come back out full kit because that's just my nature. I like to go in and challenge myself. I have no risk going in, right? It's all about getting in there, learning the terrain, learning the
Yeah.
NPCs, learning all the little hidey holes that the players like to take advantage of right now. And the longer I'm in there, the more gear I get. If I die while I'm in there, okay, I lost gear that wasn't even mine. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
If I get out, well, hey, I now have an extra kit I can stash away for later. And usually that ends up becoming more and more frequent because as you go in and practice this run over and over and over again, you get better at it. So now I've got hundreds of kits that I don't even wear because I go in and do zero to hero all the time.
And I
Which
appreciate that that's an option too, which is why, like, I don't think that's a bad thing. And for this, that it does hurt that,
it
and I
does.
hope there's some sort of workaround for that because you should be able to go into the contested zones and just zero to hero your way through the entire game. I mean, there are tons of content creators before I got into the game that I would watch that would do like the zero to hero
Honestly,
run on a new patch. Like, I
honestly,
appreciate that.
if I had my opinion, and if CIG ever sees this, I hope they take this to heart. But I would love, absolutely love, to see contested zones be the one exception to this entire thing. Let
Yeah,
me go
I
in
mean,
and kill someone. Let someone kill me and leave my shit there. But
yeah.
anyways, there's more to this. So let's go ahead and get into this. So anyways, where was I? Visual state,
You were pretty much at important notes.
important. Right. Well, there was more to this. So this approach helps mitigate item duplication issues. The initial implementation. Oh, this is stuff that you already read out earlier, so I'll stop reading that. So important notes is basically items stored in your inventory will not be protected and will remain on your corpse upon death. I can see how that can break. I bet you in the early stages we're gonna get everything back.
Yeah.
Or we just lose it altogether. Meaning we die, we go back to our corpse and go to pick it up, and it's also not interactable.
Yes.
So I see both of those situations happening, and it can be. I bet you it'll be player to player. Like I'll get the good one because for some reason bugs love me, and then Acid is just gonna get shafted because bugs hate him. So he's never gonna get his shit back, and I'm gonna get my shit back all the time.
Knowing my luck, I'm never even gonna respawn with any of my gear.
Let's
I'll get it
see.
back in 5 months. Don't worry.
But yeah, so anyways, the items that are left on your body will be available to be looted or stolen from other players or retrieved by you if you make it back in time or by your team. Which, by the way, I emphasize the word team, guys. Anyone watching now or in the future, if you're going into places that are high risk, please take a friend. One that
Yep.
won't stab
Huddle
you in the
buddies.
back,
No,
right?
don't
As
take
I'm
a
doing
friend.
contested
Go
zone
solo.
solo.
Don't shut up. Go solo. You're fine. It's fine. It's Pyro's a big place for exploration, and CIG wants you to explore in your nice ship by yourself, and so go do that.
Yeah. Let's not send that message. I actually want
Put
I want
some
people
human chest.
I want people to challenge us. I really do.
No, they're
True.
awesome, dude. Solo gamers are chads, bro. No, you underestimate them. They
All right,
like a
look,
challenge,
I
bro.
tell you what, if a Chad comes and challenges us and actually like does well against us, consider joining us and we will make you even more powerful. All right, so items such as magazines, med pens that you have equipped will still be looted from your corpse. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I thought they said that would. I'm confused because up here it said that your core loadout, basically anything you have equipped,
Yeah.
will
Your core
respawn on
loadout.
you.
That's not part of your core loadout.
Well, no, it even said it. Hold on, where was it?
This includes equipped weapons, armor, magazines, and med pens. I see what you're reading. Yeah,
Exactly, right
ensuring that
there.
your core loadout is retained. But if you keep reading, that they do dictate that. However, you will also respawn with these items, as duplication concerns for these types of consumable are less concerning at this stage. So they're separating magazines and med pens, recognizing that duplicating those doesn't fucking matter. And I
Got
bet
it.
that
I should have
extends to
just kept
tractor
reading.
beams.
I should have just
But I
kept
bet
reading. I'm
that
sorry.
extends to tractor and medpen too, because I don't think they reference those. But that doesn't matter if you duplicate that shit either. And you need that for being able to help up a buddy. Like maybe you lost your med pen or your med guns, and like I need to be able to loot a friend's med gun off him. Like they better make that interactable for your party because that fucks up shit in the process.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the thing. Duplicating tractors. I think that's going to be part of your core loadout. I don't think it's going to be
Mhm.
duplicated, but the tractors, man, I don't know if you've ever been to the end of a wipe and then or not even the end of a wipe. Like you play like 3, 4 updates in a row, and then by the fifth update, all your stuff is centralized. Have you ever gone and counted how many tractors you've had? Because I
Yes,
have.
I had
Hundreds.
4,300 something tractor beam attachments.
Yes. Well, that's just
Like
attachments, dude.
outrageous.
I had almost 800 medical attachments for the multi-tool.
Yeah,
Almost
yeah.
800 because I was just a loot whore, just looting every box. I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll take. I didn't care. I was not discriminate about what I took out of boxes. I just took it all because I had a big backpack and I just go and bank it, and then I
Yep.
forgot about it. Never touched them.
Yeah.
Never even used them.
Yeah.
But anyways, I digress. And then the multi-tools themselves, going through jump towns, going through different events, going through this, that, and the other, where I'd loot other people. Dude, my tractors stacked up into at least 200.
Yeah.
So it was absolutely insane. All right, so moving on, let's see, items, magazines, tier 0 item recovery applies to all forms of respawning, whether in a med bed, on a ship, or at your assigned landing zone. So this is interesting. This adds an element to the game that we didn't anticipate, right? Now, when we, instead of, remember when we used to get the white suit when we die, regardless of what med bed,
Yeah.
when we had ship inventories? Well,
Hmm.
now they're not giving us ship inventories. Also, by the way, we're not going to get any more of those med gowns. Yes, that's a gift. Um,
Oh, take
uh,
that shit away.
instead, now we can set our spawns on the Larry. We can set our
Mhm.
spawns on a Cuddy Red. We can set our spawns on a C8R Pisces. That's tucked
A
away somewhere nice
Nursa.
and neat. A Nursa, exactly. Things with small signatures tucked away, and now we're going to respawn with full kit. Like
Go back to
we
mission
are
day.
we are ready to go. The only thing we have to put in there in those vehicles now is, I don't know, extra supply because we're extra
You'd want
consumables if we're running low.
you'd want, yeah, you'd want like the stuff you would put inside your backpacks and your armors, and extra weaponry. Just the basics, which again, tying back into it, like that's so much better than like if you would have spawned, like I understand it's realism, like if you would have spawned on a Polaris like 50 kilometers off a site that your team's working at, but then you spawn naked, and then it's like then I gotta go and I gotta hope that we brought stuff, and I gotta kit myself out, and where did we store that, and I gotta remember, and then now I get that, and then now I gotta get to the ship, and then now I gotta get to them. Now it's just like I spawned in, I get to the ship, I go, I'm back with my team. Like that's that time shit I'm talking about, that like it kind of sucks for realism's sake, but for just pure gaming sake, like that is nice.
JD, what's your thought on this?
I feel like having people respawn with full gear is going to drastically change the meta.
Oh,
I think the
100%.
casual I think the
True.
casual player is going to really suffer from it. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, they're going to keep their gear. But think of it this way. There's all the people that are like, I want to be able to have a fighting chance. If I kill somebody, they shouldn't be able to come right back full gear. Like, yes, they shouldn't.
Well,
We're
it adds an extra danger to when we board when we're invited aboard Polarises,
Yeah, right.
against the owner's knowledge.
When we
Um,
happen upon ships that might have people spawning there.
right? Now we have to stay on our toes. Not only do we have to kill them, but we have to make sure that they stay dead. So we have to like blockade the door, which
yes, but that also like now we effectively have teleportation.
I mean, May just brings up
Yeah.
another yeah. May just brings up another point, which is we're gonna have Bob's be a bit more bold, and honestly, I'm happy to see that.
It will encourage them to step away from a comfort zone because they have less risk. Which
Yeah,
is like, we were talking about this last night just while gaming, and I was asking, like, what is it going to take? Because we were trying to do something that isn't exactly money making, but is more player involved in the game. And we were hoping we'd run into lots of players, and we ran into a couple. And I asked the question, like, what do they need to do to allow players to be willing to take the risk? This might be one of those
ta-da!
things. Let's just give them their kits, and so they have something that they always keep. So like even in the sake of not ground ops, but like if somebody who like likes to live on our corp and is just like, I'm going to travel to Pyro, and doesn't set their spawn when they go to Pyro because it's not immersive and they live on our corp or whatever, like now at the very fucking least, when they land back in Lowerville or die and go back to New Babbage, wherever they're at in Stanton, at least they're like, well, I don't have to go all the way back for my kit. Like you died at some dumb shit, and you're like, fuck, I gotta go back for my kit. Even if you want to get off, the gaming session's almost over, you're like, let me go grab my kit and then I'll get off. Like now you can just be like, all right, I was kind of upset, like that happened, I got my kit, I'm just gonna log out. Like the retrieval of a kit is eliminated, and we've had so many problems with that. Oh, my body marker doesn't work. Oh, my body's stuck in a map. Oh, my body's under this fucking
Well,
planet. My body's in the asteroid. That will
I
never
feel
happen again.
I feel like this is like bringing Arena Commander to the persistent universe because
Mm.
like was already mentioned, the next line is to ensure your weapon and active use is secured as an equipped item, it is automatically stowed to your holster upon death.
Mm.
So like we don't even get a chance to take their weapon. Like we don't get to take anything but what's, excuse me, hiccups. We don't
and
get to
that's
take
what you had
anything, but
asked earlier. I
yeah,
see.
yeah. No,
Okay.
JD mentioned that. So we
I
finally
got
got to
it.
that
Okay.
line that he
Okay.
mentioned right there.
Yeah.
So
Like, I'm
yeah,
sorry,
it's
if you have a railgun or something and I kill you with a pistol, I should be able to take that.
Yeah, and I
absolutely.
agree with that because of like I thought that way about bounty hunting. Like if I bounty hunt you and you die, like I should get your shit. You don't deserve it at Evers Harbor when you're out of jail. Like that's ridiculous. So I definitely understand and agree with that.
I just feel like overall it is a change that did not have enough foresight, will not have enough foresight, and will see consequences of this that are quite negative for a very long time.
Also, here's something that's interesting. If you die within a landing zone, okay, I'm assuming that means the planetary ones. I don't think that means the stations. Um,
Yeah,
you will
probably you're
respawn
right.
with both your equipped gear and your inventory. So that
Mhm.
includes all the belongings in your backpack, anything that, you know. But honestly, who knows? That might extend to the stations because in Pyro there's no quote unquote landing zones. So we'll see. That one's a bit questionable. And again, honestly, this one feels a bit catering to a particular crowd that we won't mention. I mean, literally, the last sentence is this is to help avoid you losing items of any kind should a death outside your control happen.
I am of firm belief that the only items that should be affected by this are items that were purchased with real money. Yes, that becomes a little bit pay to win, but I think this change is just they're too gung ho with it.
I mean, even things. All right, so here's the thing: the things that are purchased with money, I still think should be lost. I think the solution, the easiest solution was quite simply what I suggested many years back, which is when
Make
you
them
buy it in
purchasable.
game, they give you a free one, and then they unlock it, they unlock the ability to go buy it with credits,
Exactly.
right? So you get a free
Mhm.
one, that's what you paid for. You get the free gun and that's it, right? But if you lose it, it's gone. However, you're still the only one who can go buy it again with credits. It's that simple. It's literally that
Yeah, but then
simple.
nobody. Yeah, but then the player controls that fucking thing. Why would I go? Why would I, as a player, go buy that off the store so I can buy it if I just know uh if I know Stompy bought that thing, I'll just be like, "Hey Stompy, can you go buy 30 of these? I'll give you X AUEC
Limit
if you
how
buy me
many a
30 of
player
these
can have at
items."
once.
You can
And
only
I
like buy
mean,
one of them.
fine, but
Yeah.
you have to understand that they're
Whatever.
also going to be putting a degradation into the game, right? So items are going to start degrading in its function. And we
Yeah.
don't know how we're going to be able to restore them, if at all. There was a game back, I forget, one of the Star Wars games where when you craft an item or bought an item, it had a life durability. And when that life
Mhm.
reached zero, that item was done. Regardless of how good that item was, it's done. Can't be repaired. It's gone. So you go get a new one. And this could have been much the same way. If they introduced the degradation system that they talked about 2 years ago before this, they could have just simply used my suggestion and just buy a new one with ISK. ISK, sorry, wrong game. AUEC. Let's see, where was I? With the tier 0, you will respawn with your previously equipped gear already attached to your character, so you don't have to go into your inventory and re-equip it. That is, how dare I? Easy, I'll do it again. ISK. um, but that's a time saver, but it also means that people going into contested zones means people going into um, areas within, let's say I've got a nurse nearby or even a Larry nearby, and there's an area that's being contested, they're going to be literally right off the bed, pull the gun out, right back into the action. It's literally that fast. We're going to, both us on the receiving end or on the sending end, are going to have to be on our toes to prevent people from returning to the battlefield too quickly, which means we're going to have to seek out and destroy respawn points so that way they are sent back to their home location. Not a huge deal, but kind of annoying. I mean, there should be some time to put your gear back on. I think they should put it back in the inventory of wherever you spawned. But in the
I will
case of
say,
ships, it's harder to do that.
I did just think of one problem this does solve. So I know a lot of people have been stuck in the loop of somebody's on your ship that you set your spawn at, and you can't change your spawn or anything. You're just stuck respawning there, and they just sit there with a shotgun. You got a little bit better odds if you're spawning in with armor and a gun rather than naked.
I mean, yeah, you do, but honestly, in a situation like that, before you respawn, you should be prompted with a, do you want to respawn here or home?
Yeah, you
Not,
should.
I shouldn't have to use the terminal to reset my spawn. Like, if I'm stuck in a spawn loop because someone is camping my bed, yeah, I can report them, but that makes me feel dirty. I mean, it really does. I shouldn't have to report someone for doing something that the game allows.
Yeah, it's also a
I
heavy
agree.
thing that's allowed that there is no other way around. What the fuck am I supposed to do when I'm trying to board and take care of a ship that a guy keeps respawning on? Like I will camp outside the dude's fucking, like I'll camp down the hall from a med bay. I'm not gonna stand on his bed and kill him. I'll let him leave the med bay, but I'm not gonna let him just survive and be like, ah, you got a med bed. Well, I guess you keep the ship now. You're gonna keep dying until you decide, fuck, this ship is lost. Like, I won't sit over the med bed, but like, they need to change that because I'm not going to work
Well,
around just
they
because
also
you get a med bed on your ship.
they also need to fix prox comms, right? They need to fix prox comms so that way I can sit outside the medical bay and be like, look, man, you come out these doors, you're gonna die, right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
reset your spawn, go home, the ship is ours now, right? But I can't
yeah.
do that because
Nope.
it doesn't
Mm-mm.
work.
No. So I'm forced to like camp your med facility instead of your
Yeah,
med bed.
I'll let you walk around inside, like in the hallway of a Polaris. I will post up outside that door, and I will let you do whatever you want inside that medical facility. But as soon as you walk outside that medical facility, you're dead. There's
Yeah.
just no question about it. Because that's the line, by the way, guys. That's the line. If you are in direct line of sight of a person's respawn point and you kill them as they respawn, that is something that's against the terms of service, and that you can be banned by it. However, if you let them get out of bed and you let them do whatever they want within the confines of where they respawned, right? Put on gear, re-equip, get ready. Is it fair? No. But at the same time, yes. Because
It's
you're
more
allowing
fair
them
than
to play.
standing above the bed and killing you the second I see your body pop into existence.
Right. I mean, look, let me explain this real quick. Um, I had an encounter a couple updates back. I can't remember how many. With Vox. Do we like Vox? Not particularly, but we don't hate them either, right? It was a
Mhm.
good friendly encounter in the beginning, and I enjoyed it up to a certain point. But when I was respawning on a Nursa, right? I was in the bed. The moment my body would appear, one of their members would kill me, and I couldn't get out of that respawn loop. However, now mind you, I'm respawning naked. I have nothing on me. I am no threat to them. Even if I were to run out of the Nursa with an attempt to try and get a gun, I'm still no threat to them. But the line is drawn once I leave the Nursa.
Yeah.
That is the boundary, because if I get out of bed, I can go to the terminal and I can reset my spawn. Now the next time I die, or I can backspace, I now go somewhere else and I leave that loop. But they didn't allow me that opportunity, and that's where they broke the barrier, right? That's where they trapped me. They prevented me from playing. At the time, it upset me, and I had a full report ready to send in. I had it all typed up. I had ready to go, and I didn't send it. I wanted to, but I was convinced otherwise. So I was angry once they killed me the third time. I was really angry when they killed me the fifth time. Had they just let me change my spawn point, they would have been left alone. But they insisted on breaking that barrier. Because now I can't play. It's one thing to be trapped in an area, it's another thing to literally not be able to play. Like if I'm trapped in the Nursa and I can't go anywhere, okay, fine. I've made my bed, now I'm laying in it. I'm gonna,
Literally.
yeah, literally. And now my only option is to change my spawn location or keep facing the lead that stands outside the door. But that wasn't afforded to me. And when it comes to a Polaris, when it comes to any other spawn location such as a C8R, a Cuddy Red, like for instance, you can hold, right? You can have a person outside of Cuddy Red and in the pilot area, right? Where the pilot seat and the co-pilot seat are, you can be in there. Because the area that is considered sacred is where the beds are, where the beds and the terminal for setting spawn are. If they attempt to leave the ship or attempt to go to the captain's seat, they're dead. That's the sacred areas in that cargo bay. Anywhere where they can affect the terminal for respawn. Anyways, I'll continue on. But that was my experience with the whole respawning thing. Now, if I respawn geared, right, because this is the last point here. If I respawn geared, I am respawning as a threat, but it is still not right to kill someone as while they're still trapped on the bed.
No, yeah.
Even still, that sacred area still exists. On the Polaris, it is the medical facility itself. On the NURSA, it is the NURSA itself. On the Cuddy, it is that back cargo bay, right? If they leave those zones, all bets are off. For all whatever, what am I trying to say? The moment they leave those areas, they have signed their lease on life away.
Yeah.
So even though they are spawning as a threat, just be aware of that, guys. If you just continuously camp them on the bed, that is something that crosses a line that CIG will ban you for. I've seen it happen multiple times.
They'll get so angry. They'll be like, ban, 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 ban. You'll hear their
No, the player's angry, CIG doesn't care, nor do they do research, and they just ban you anyways on the single report. But
yeah,
So it's Sea of
pretty
Thieves.
much.
yeah, usually it's usually get banned for somewhere around 30 days. 90 if you're associated with anyone disreputable like Griefernet.
That's why you always have a backup game. So if you get banned, you can just go play something else.
Oh, we have plenty of backup games. Don't you worry about that. Um, all right, so moving on. I'm going to avoid the scenario example because I think we've kind of talked this one into the ground, so we don't really need their scenario. We've already kind of pitched our own. So looking ahead at Tier 1 and Tier 2, and it's funny that they say this. So it says, while Tier 0 lays the groundwork and provides some assurances that your equipped items are not lost, we we are already actively developing Tier 1 and Tier 2 implementations. I'm curious how you develop Tier 2 when you haven't even solidified Tier 1. Or Tier 0 for that matter.
Told you this wasn't thought out.
Like, all right, usually a tier system. Okay, now maybe they're talking about maybe they have a list of features. Okay, so here's your list of features, and right here's your Tier 0 features. These are your core features that you want to implement. Here's your Tier 1 features, which are basically assistance features, and then your Tier 2 features, which basically tie Tier 1 and Tier 2 together. I don't know, whatever that may be. This line still confuses me. You work on Tier 0, you get it out. Once Tier 0 is out, you iterate on it, and that becomes Tier 1. When Tier 1 comes out, then you iterate on that, and that becomes Tier 2. But somehow they're working on Tiers 1, 2, and 0 all at the same time. I'm not entirely sure how that's possible. Anyways, these features and updates will add more depth to the system, including a viable path for piracy. So, I mean, that's reassuring. A viable path for
Heard it here
piracy.
first, Bobs. They want
Well, yeah,
piracy.
here's the other thing too, is it's like, yeah, that Tier 0 thing's gonna happen, but like that's gonna also go away. Like there's also gonna be changes to that. As we read, we'll see like that certain things are gonna change. And once Tier 2 is introduced and they're at that stage, it's gonna be less like harmful in the sense of like trying to be able to loot bodies and stuff like that. Like that's gonna be much easier, and like you also may end up losing your stuff.
So this next part, their tier 1 part is interesting. It makes me a little worried, but at the same time, also another thing that can also help us in some situations. But a tier 1 will introduce the ability to register your gear and ships at a kiosk or ASOP terminal. I assume this is going to be a sync, a credit sync, right? You're going to have to pay a fee to register your items,
Yeah, it's in-game insurance.
right? This is basically their first insurance system for everything out
Mhm.
there. I don't like the fact that they include gear. I don't. I think insurance should only be for ships.
But haven't they
I,
always
I,
talked about insuring your gear?
mm-mm. At least, well, I mean, if they have, it's not anything that I've ever noticed enough to focus
I've
on.
heard a lot of people talk about them like trying to work to insuring your gear along with ships. So like this isn't a surprise to me. I'm because I had heard that that was always going to be a thing down the road.
So, anyways, personal loadout. Players can register their equipped items, which can be reclaimed for a fee at specific kiosks or freight elevators. Okay, so far so good. So the player has to pay a fee to recover those items,
Mhm.
right? Ships and interiors. So along with their loadouts, decorations, and locker contents can also be registered, which means we can now fully kit up a ship and go to the terminal and register it.
Yeah.
Now that ship is ready to go. It basically your go bags are on board, your stuff is stocked, it's ready to just pull out and dive right into action. Uh, they can be reclaimed in the state they were previously registered at ASOP terminals for a price. Okay, yet again, this is insurance. This is actually their third tier of insurance, because remember, their first tier included just the ship hull with default
Yep.
configuration. Their second tier of insurance was the ship hull with modified components. And the third tier included the components, the decorations, and they neglected to mention the internals of the storage and stuff like that. So that's cool that they're including that. I'm all for that. What are your guys' thoughts?
I mean, I like fully I'm so full in on in insuring everything. Like go for it. Because it just makes the game easier. The only questions I would have is like with the ship, when I go insure my ship or, register, whatever they want to call it, how long is that? Like if I do that for my Hornet and then I die and then I go to reclaim my registered Hornet, do I then have to re-register it on that new claimed Hornet or does this just persist forever and I have to go
And
change registration when I change parts?
that's a very good question, actually. One that I hope they answer.
Because I
JD,
don't
what's your thought?
disagree with it, but
Also not sure.
You're not sure on this
it's
part?
it's gonna be hard. This is a weird one, like because it's cool to insure it all, but like how it works,
I feel like there needs to be risk for anything to feel rewarding.
I agree with
Well,
that.
I mean, so far these two things are only talking about basically taking everything that you prepare, right? So we spend hours preparing before we head out. That means our personal gear, our loadout, everything that's in our backpack for spare mags and med pens and stuff like that. Now we can go and say, hey, here's 100,000 credits, make sure I get this back. And really,
Mm-hmm.
you're not getting it back. In true insurance terminology, you're basically saying, "Hey, here's what I'm wearing. If I give you 100,000 credits, will you give me a copy of this back?" And insurance will be
Mm-hmm.
like, "Yeah, we will make sure that you get that back
Mm-hmm.
if it's ever lost." And same thing with the ships. That's insurance at its core. Okay. Now this next part can be the concerning part, because now we are dealing with the looter side, right? So this says looting and bricked items. Once an item is looted, it remains usable until the original owner reclaims it or marks it as stolen. At that point, a dead man switch is activated, meaning it will cease to function after a period of time. They don't specify the period of time, and they don't specify what functions of that piece stop working. As a looter, as I have been on many occasions, especially in terms of personal gear, I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Okay. I will say this. I think you should breeze all the way through to tier 2 because there's a lot of stuff that they talk about towards the end that changes this. So by looking at only this, you're just giving an opinion on how it's going to be for this small amount of time because when it gets to tier 2, tier 2 is all about bricked items and what they're going to do it, and it all involves crafting and what you can do with those bricked items.
Right, but we're going to
So
get a tier 1 implementation for a period of time that we're going to have to deal with.
I mean, yeah, but
Just
that's just like master modes. Like we have to deal with this for now. It's going to change later. Like that's just how the cards are dealt right now. But it's
I mean,
going to change.
you're not wrong, but just the simple tier implementation of master modes has caused at least a third of the community to stop playing.
I mean, yeah, but then that's on them. Like if they don't want to keep testing and following with the iterations, then that's their problem. Like
it,
we're here and we're playing day to day and we're dealing with these things. So yeah, it's going to be annoying in the time, but in due time we see the future, like we talk about the plans for the future and we see where the game will be. So to me it's in the moment of these tiers some of it's going to suck, but
Oh,
the
absolutely, it's going to suck.
it's like with stealing ships. Like the way stealing ships will progress is going to be exactly how gear is going to work, and I like that. Like I
but it's
like that it's like, oh, I could go sell it. I'll be able to craft it. I could restore it. Like it's gonna work out down the road really cool. It's just gonna, yeah, it's not gonna be as fun for a small amount of time. And tier 1 could be like a PTU cycle, and we may never see it on the PU because they also all they said earlier was we will take your feedback in PTU process, and this is all to talk about Evocati as well. Like this could all be implemented in Evocati and PTU, and then PU they release it at tier 2.
I mean, generally, the way that they've produced things, I would say that that's extremely unlikely. However, I mean, who knows? You could be right. I can't really speak on behalf of CIG as to what their intent is, but I can say from experience that that's generally not how they put things out. So
That's valid.
there will be a period of time where we will have to deal with the tier 1 implementation, which could be as long as, or I should say, as short as 3 months and as long as maybe a year. I mean, we've already been
Yeah,
dealing with
it
master
could be.
modes for half a year. Or
Yeah.
has it been a year yet?
No, it's not been a year. It came out at the end of the summer. So it's been like 9 months. It's pretty much you know, about to be born.
I have this feeling like one of the biggest complaints I always see people have is like when we get towards the end of the wipe, I wish the wipe would happen. I have too much shit. Why am I
Yeah.
Yeah,
picking things up? Because I already have a copy of it. Like
but
that's going
that's
to be the
someone
same thing when everything's just coming back.
that's
Like
one of
why
two
would
people.
I?
Well,
That's one of two people. And the two people that you're gonna see with that statement are either A, the guy that is really good at killing and collecting, or B, the guy who's really good at ratting and flying under the radar, getting their stuff, and then never risking it, right?
mhm.
For those of us like, Acid and I, we're good at killing, but we're also good at losing, right? So we're constantly rotating our stock all the time.
Yeah.
So I,
Also it depends on your loot mentality. Like you were talking about earlier, how you would pick up a ton of med attachments for multi-tools and you just get to the end of a patch and you have a shitload of them. After the
I
first time I recognized how that just built up, like you were talking about, I immediately changed my loot mindset. And
yeah,
so
me
I
too.
literally only loot what I need now. I don't take a P6 mag just because I like P6s if I don't have a P6 on me.
Yep.
I'm like, I can get that at the fucking store. I don't need to loot it off this guy's body.
Yeah, I take the extra second or two to actually look at what is in the box before I take something. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it gets me killed, sometimes I'm okay, right? But I mean that's the risk that I'm choosing to
Well,
take.
yeah, that's a whole other side of things.
Um, but that being said, um, it's also in part due to the really, really poor implementation of the inventory system. The inventory system
Mhm.
has been in this state for an extremely long time, where it is just cumbersome. It is hard to find things. They've added features and then removed the features because the features they added broke other shit in the game somehow that were completely unrelated, so they had to remove the search bar because shit was blowing up when you touch a ramp. I don't know. Like I don't even know if those two things were related, but I do know that they happened at the same time. And when the search bar disappeared, guess what? We stopped blowing up when we step on a ramp. Kind of weird
Mhm.
coincidence. I know they're completely unrelated, but coincidences, right?
Yeah.
So, moving on. We will get to the tier 2 here in just a second, but let's see.
Well, yeah.
Looting brick.
There's more in the tier 1 that kind of aids to the looting bricked items.
Well, a looted and or stolen slash bricked item um, is no longer usable. You can still sell the item for credits. Okay, problem is, if it's bricked, there's only so many places you can sell it, and let's face it, gear and guns on a person are not worth the time and effort to go to a store to sell it. I won't. Once it stops working, I'm just going to drop it.
I mean, yeah, like that part I'm not gonna go sell people's guns, but I'm also not looting people's fucking guns either. So to me, this is like irrelevant. Like if I killed a guy, I clearly have my own weapons. I don't need his. Like that's the other mentality too. Is half of this is gonna affect, like you said, loot hoarders and people who are all about fucking loot.
Yeah, and
Like
how are you going to differentiate a bricked item from a normal item? You're going to pick up the bricked item that's in your inventory, not realizing it's bricked because they look exactly alike, and you're
I
going to
bet
go
it's gonna
out.
have an icon, and
I mean, one would
I
hope,
doubt.
like logically speaking, one would hope that it has that item, but
Yeah.
this is CIG we're talking about still,
I,
right?
yeah, no, I know, but like I have a feeling it'll still have an icon in your inventory, and it'll probably just show up a thing on the gun, like where you show an ammo count on your weapon. It'll just be like X Jolly Roger, some shit like that.
All right, so let me finish up with the tier 1 implementation, then we'll take a quick survey from the audience here and see what their opinions are. In fact,
Hmm.
you guys have been reading through this along with us. It's been on screen long enough. Feel free to put your comments in the chat, and I'll get to them once we're done with the tier 1 on what your thoughts are with the tier 1 implementation, and we'll get to tier 2 shortly after. So, pledged items are auto-registered, meaning just like ships, they come with insurance,
Hmm.
right? And they will, when it comes to items per se, they will never lose their registration status. So they have lifetime insurance. Any gear you buy will have lifetime insurance.
Do you think that includes like gear we got from events?
N- Um, I assume if it's attributed to your website, then
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Makes
That
sense.
that's just my assumption though, so we'll see.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, they can always claim it back, even if they were not manually registered. And with Tier 1, you will no longer respawn with your preserved gear already equipped. Okay, so this is where they go from Tier 0 to Tier 1, where now you're no longer respawning with the equipped gear. So once they get to the Tier 1 implementation, we don't have to worry about the immediate threat.
Hmm.
So that's a change from Tier 0 to Tier 1 that I will really be looking forward to. You'll need to visit a location such as your freight elevator to reclaim your registered items. We're developing a quality of life feature to allow you to re-equip your previous full loadout with one auto-equip
Nice.
button
I
at that
love that.
location.
Love it.
That
That's
that
fine by me.
that deserves a standing ovation.
Yeah, I hate how much time it takes to equip myself. Like I like being able to put together my kit, but like I really wish I could like once I've got a kit together, I wish I could just have that kit in the inventory and just be like, that's the kit I want, boom, everything's on it.
But here's the other thing, right? Here's the other thing to consider. I want to be able to produce multiple loadouts, right? I want loadout
Agreed.
A, B, C, and D, and based on my encounters, I want to be able to go up to my terminal and go, I want loadout A. Boom, done,
Yeah,
right?
that would be nice.
Or better yet, I want loadout. Even if it's a time concern, I don't want to just magically appear on my body. Fine. If you want the more realism, I'm okay with that too. I want loadout A, have it appear so I can put it on.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that too. But I want to be able to have full loadouts ready to go for me to go, I want that one, and then the computer or the system or the elevator or whatever it may be goes, okay, here's that loadout.
Hmm.
I don't want to sit there scrolling through piles and piles and piles of loot, which I will eventually have because I'm going to be producing a lot of it. So it's not just going to be my stock, it's going to be the org stock too that I will be producing. And
Yeah.
I'll have to be scrolling through all that shit. And I want to be able to go ahead.
I was to say, I'm a COD kid. I want my sniper class. I want my assault class. I want my grenadier class. You know what I mean? Like that's what we need. So that
Yeah,
way it's
see
just
there,
click and go.
look at that. See, that would be awesome. I'm not the only one, guys. Right there. That's proof.
Yeah.
And obviously acid, you know. So, anyways, auto equip button, that deserves a standing ovation right there. I love that feature. I hope they carry that further, and I hope they do more with it. Additionally, with the implementation of Tier 1, our current plan is to remove the ability to backspace. Ooh.
Well, uh,
I
I get
think
it because of this shit.
I hope that's they remove the ability to backspace while conscious.
Well, it's
I
out of dangerous scenarios as a way to retain gear. So they're preventing you from being able to just backspace your way out of losing your gear if you have not
right.
registered your gear.
So that would technically be the while conscious. So if I am a person, right?
Yeah.
Conscious, moving around, I can't just hit backspace and die.
And probably it will be tied to your combat timer
Yeah,
with
that would
logout.
make
So
that would make
like
sense
if
too.
you are in combat, then you can't backspace yourself anymore unless and then until you are probably in capped. Then in which case the game recognizes you are in an in cap state and it is your choice to leave that in cap state.
All right,
Or maybe
so
not. Maybe they force you to be in capped until something happens. I could see that happening one day too.
so JD, what are your thoughts so far for the Tier 1 implementation? Oh, he must be busy. He's got himself muted. We will carry on. We will come back to that. Let's go to the audience. Anyone watching presently? Give us your comments. Give us your thoughts on the Tier 0 and Tier 1 implementations. Do you have any concerns? Do you have any questions that we could, refer back to CIG if they ever see this? Do you have anything you're excited for? And if you're watching this later, please feel free to put those in the comments below, and I will be happy to talk about those on a follow-up video.
I I do think that these tiers are going to go quicker than longer. I think you're gonna see like this kind of because in my head this isn't too much stuff that's like gonna be as game breaking as other like systems that are implemented. You know, granted, this also kind of goes against their content versus features narrative
It does, and
because
actually,
this
I
is
was gonna make
definitely like
it's a
not based off of old
it's a
features.
feature, yeah. Um, I was actually gonna make that comment when we first started, and I completely spaced making that comment. But yeah, this is a new feature, guys. Right up here, this is a new feature, and they talked about in the letter from the chairman that they were going to be focusing on bugs. Now, obviously, those of us that are carrying it to a very strict degree are going to make that argument.
Hmm.
But obviously, we know that they're not going to stop working on features. They're still going to implement them, but their primary
Yeah,
focus is bugs. So just bear that in mind. But no, it's
Magus is
funny
all for
because
it.
yeah,
Magus
I was
is
actually
full in.
I was just going to read that. Um, so I agree with the statement of it's going to be hard for them to get it right. It really is. I don't think they even understand what they're getting themselves into. And even if they do understand, they're still going to fail.
Yeah. And I agree with chat. I think I say get it out, get this shit going because I honestly I love all of this, even down to what we'll get to into tier 2. I'm pretty much for all of this shit. It's fine by me. And as like in my head there's like a couple types of PvPers and one of those types doesn't care about anybody's loot but their own. So like to me it's like I'm going to ensure like not ensure in game but just ensure to myself that my loot is taken care of. I'm doing good and then I'm good to go. And like this makes ensuring my loot physically and in game easy. Then I can get my day-to-day tasks and the stuff I want to do in game done simply, easy. I don't really care about the other people and what they die with and what they have. I'll get most of the shit on my own as I need. And if I'm kitted all the time, like now I have a mission at hand all the time. And I will stay kitted all the time. I'll have everything I need on me and I'll have my like set load out so I don't have to worry about getting shit from others, and I don't have to be in a place where I'm on fucking Pyro 4 and be like, oh, I hope this guy's got med pins. No, I got fucking 30 in my backpack. It's fine.
Well, I'm mostly concerned with the tier 0 implementation. Like we're gonna have to live through
That's
this,
the
and it's
most
really,
concerning.
really gonna
Yeah.
suck. The tier 0 implementation is absolutely a whole lot of bad mixed with a little bit of good. The tier
Well,
1
it's going to be a
implementation,
madhouse.
right? The tier 1 implementation is improving the good. I think it's going to bring it somewhere around a 50-50 mark, right? And I'm hoping that as we read more into the tier 2 that it's going to bring it more into a 70-25 good bad, you know? But we'll see. So moving into tier 2, it looks like it's much shorter, so we'll go ahead and just quickly get into this.
Mhm.
Tier 2 will introduce a way to restore previously bricked items for a price. So this looks like the piracy side of it.
Yes.
Looting and bricked items. Of course, this also goes into if you retrieve your gear that was previously bricked, you can now restore it. But now you got to pay
Mhm.
for it. But why would you do that if you could just insure it and get it back anyways for a fee? I don't know. Anyways,
That would be the zero to hero mentality, though. I give you that example right there. In your
yes.
scenario, you get somebody else's gear, and it's not yours, but you're like, "This is a really good kit. I'm gonna hang on to this." You hit a station, but you're on your way to an op, and you just ensure this shit that's on your back because you can't go to get your gear. You're good to go. Like it, I can see instances where it's like, "All right, I'd do that." Not a
Well,
lot though.
this is also going to apply strictly to items that have been registered. If they haven't been registered, because people are going to do that all the time. People are going to forget to register their loadout.
Yeah,
I forget to do things for my ship when I leave the station. Sometimes it's as simple as refueling, right?
yeah.
I mean, right now it's hard to refuel, even if I
Well,
did remember, but that's a whole different
that's a
scenario,
different conversation.
which I'm working on a song for that.
I love
Anyways.
to hear it.
Anyways, so looting and bricked items, once an item is looted, you will have the option to sell it, dismantle it for crafting materials, or restore it. Which, by the way, dismantling will be my option.
Yeah, that
100%.
would be there 9 times out of 10, like, the only time I would restore a weapon is if it's, like, one of the
Rare.
fucking 3 weapons that are rare, which is, like, railgun, missile launcher,
Oh,
and maybe
100%.
P6.
Well, no, so even those, right? If it's not, so keep in mind with crafting coming, they talked about different levels of quality. With some items,
Mhm.
it was 1 to 3, and with other items, it was 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a base rocket launcher, I'm probably going to tear it down if I've got the blueprint already built up to level 3, right?
Mhm.
So I'm going to break down the materials. I'm going to use those materials to then build a level 3 one and then be good to go. Now, mind you, it's more than likely when you break it down, you're not going to get all the materials back. It's probably going to be like at worst case, probably a 30% return on your materials.
Yeah. I
That's pure
get that.
speculation, by the way, guys. I have nothing to base that off of other than other survival games.
Well, and I
So,
mean, even Cyberpunk would do that. Like Cyberpunk, you can dismantle guns or you can sell the guns and you can use the materials from the guns to like do other stuff
right.
with it. So yeah, that's it would make but it gives you that lower percentage of what the thing was valued at or however they implement that.
So, anyways, this system creates a viable path for piracy, allowing you to claim another person's belongings if you take the necessary steps to legitimize ownership. And I'm all for that part. I really
Yeah.
am. Um, I like living both sides of the fence. I like living both the legal and the illegal side of this. I should be allowed to do whatever I want. And that's why our organization is considered a sovereignty, because we'll be living out in null-sec space. We will claim a section of land as our own, and we will write the laws for that section of land. So legal, illegal is really up to our own interpretation. Probably more. Yeah. I mean, that seems appropriate. Just out of all the survival games I've played, you're still looking at roughly an average of 30 to 50% return. I don't think anyone ever returns more than 50%. No, I take that back. There was one that gave 80% once. So when you break something down, you get 80% back of what you used to make it. But I digress. Depends on how strict they want to be. I've seen them as low as 15% and as high as 80%. So there's a whole range in there that they can make this. If an item had a cosmetic applied, restoring it will remove the cosmetic in the process. I don't think I like that. Because
I mean,
that's part of the weapon.
I agree with you. It's part of the weapon, and I understand like in that aspect of not liking it. If you're a cosmetic person, then that sucks. But like I know there are plenty of people too. Like like me, cosmetics are here or there. Like it's you know it sucks. Like oh I can't get the red C54. Fuck. Like oh well.
No, that really does suck, actually. I like the red C54 because it doesn't exist.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but you give up. Like, but I
It's a
get
red
it
and green
though.
one.
It is part of the weapon. You're not wrong. Like that's the weapon is not like it's not a
All right,
fucking
hold on.
wrap.
Look at it this way. Look at it this way, right? I go out, I punch you in the face, I take your camo painted rifle. Okay?
Mhm.
I take it back to my place. Now I've got a camo painted rifle. If I flip it over and I file off the serial number of that rifle and I engrave my own serial number, guess what? That's now my rifle. And
But in
guess
this
what didn't
version, once you
Legally in
take
change?
my
GTX,
rifle,
this is
Guess
I
what
slightly
didn't
will
different.
have a
change?
silhouette
The
of
paint.
a rifle.
The only
I
thing
mean,
that
you might
changed was the
scrape up the
serial
paint a little
number.
bit.
But
That's the only problem though with this whole concept too, because like if you look into the reality of this, like in space, if we were in real life out exploring in space and I had a gun and I died on a planet, for one, I'm never going back to get it. For one. But if anybody comes across my body and finds that gun, it is as is that gun. And there's no way that farmers is going to make sure that my gun on Mars gets back to me. They're not going to Mars for my gun. It's not happening. It's so like all of this is just gamified stuff. This is just a way to make the game more
yeah,
fun and
well,
engaging to newer players.
it's also for the store because I mean, look, how they're going to make their money after 1.0 is cosmetic. 100% cosmetic. Because I mean,
Nah, planets
I've bought
system
strict.
DLCs and subscription based like
Yeah,
World of
give me
Warcraft.
my own. I'm gonna go buy. I'm gonna go buy Vega.
No, I had this thought the other day, honestly, that those of us who have been in alpha and have been playing the game all the way up until it is fully released, whether it's 1.0 or what, I would not be surprised if they launch it as a subscription based game with those in alpha being grandfathered in. Like
I would
straight up.
honestly, I think they'd make even us pay for it, but I would really hope that you're
Maybe
right
at a
that they.
lower rate, maybe, but like or like all like whatever money we've put into the game covers our subscription until that runs out.
Oh,
So
I'm
like
never gonna have to pay for the
yeah,
game.
well, and there will be those people. Like exactly, there's
uh,
lots of people who put a ton into the game. So if you got a $15 subscription a month and you
well,
put
that's
even
a
$1,000 into the game, like
that
you're
that's a
subscribed
whole
for a while.
that's a whole nother topic that we can totally get into at a
Fair, I
different
mean, we
time
don't
because
have to jump
that's
into
like a
that.
whole nother 2 hour conversation about. In fact, I think we did we briefly touched on the uh, the business model after launch.
Mhm.
Whoops, I accidentally hit my space bar. I can't remember which one that was, but yeah, that's something we did talk about. and we can always talk more on it. That's not a problem. Anyways, so finishing this up says the introduction of item recovery is a significant step towards making gear persistence more meaningful while maintaining the risk to reward balance of looting. Tier 0 and Alpha 4.1 is just the beginning, and as we further integrate into a broader crafting and insurance system, we'll be actively refining and updating. Wow, I'm having a hard time reading. I'm sorry, guys. With the help of your feedback throughout the PTU process and beyond. So basically, yeah, they're just trying to paint the stage and preemptively color everyone's opinions of these features because they know that Tier 0 is not going to be widely received very well.
Well, like it's gonna be just a slaughterhouse. I mean, everybody's gonna be running around killing everybody for no fucking reason. Like they already do, but on fucking steroids.
Right.
It's gonna be actually crazy.
So it's going to be interesting. Definitely going to be interesting. There was something that was brought up just before we started, and I can't remember what it was. I think JD had made the comment, and I wanted to roll into that. Maybe it was you, Acid. What was the next topic we were going to talk about?
I don't know. I stepped in as you guys started this because I was like
Oh,
10 minutes late.
maybe it was Stompy, but he stepped away.
I'm not sure what I would have said. I don't remember what I said 5 minutes ago.
Oh, damn. All right, well, with the Tier 2 implementation, JD, what are your thoughts?
I think that it could be all right. I feel like they're putting way too much thought into a system that could be way more simple. I also like the whole idea because we don't know exactly what gear is going to be affected and how. I think that might be what you were thinking about earlier. Is
Yeah, it
like,
was.
okay, I died. Uh, this guy's wearing my helmet in Nyx. I'm in Stanton. I'm gonna press this button and magically send this signal. It's gonna make it so it turns off his life support. Like that's bullshit. That doesn't make sense.
What is it, life support? Does it pop off my head? Like what's going to happen when
That's
the helmet stops working? What's going to happen when the core armor piece stops working? Am I going to stop putting things in? Can I take things back out? Am I going to take more damage because it's technically not there anymore? Like what exactly is going to go on whenever someone goes dead switch? It's
well, and
still a
here's
piece of metal.
well, and it does say a dead man switch is activated, meaning it will cease to function after a period of time. So I bet if anything, like let's say in this idea of a helmet, I bet you're gonna get a HUD timer. As soon as that dead man switch is activated, you're gonna see a HUD timer, and it's gonna be like DMS timer, 5 minutes and count down. And so you're gonna be like, which it's not the coolest, but at the same time, like in the moment, if you steal a helmet, it will be like, fuck, I gotta find a helmet in 5 minutes.
I
I
still think
mean,
that's stupid as fuck.
It's not the most. I agree with what you said at the
Like,
beginning, JD.
oh
It
no,
could be
the med
simpler.
pen. Think about it
It
this
could
way:
be,
the med pens come with your insured gear. We're gonna have dead man
yeah,
switches on med pens.
yeah. Very true. Very good
click,
question.
click, click, click. God damn it.
Will not administer medication.
I mean, fucking man. I can just imagine it as like one of those 007 messages. Should you choose to take this item will self-destruct in 10, 9, 8. Son of a bitch, get it off.
You get a missile launcher and it just fucking explodes the missiles inside the launcher.
They're
Kills
shooting them backwards.
Clear back blast. Well, that's the wrong kind of back blast, but all right.
Okay, whatever works, I guess.
Uh, returning bullets.
So, does this, in regards to this, when is, because this came out yesterday at 12:30 p.m. When does when do they introduce Tier 0 to Evocati?
Already happened, to my
It's
knowledge.
so it's in right now, starting. Wow, okay. So we're probably going to be seeing this upon the next patch cycle.
Possibly. Well, no. Keep in mind that this goes 4.1 will probably be with Evocati for at least a month minimum. Because I mean,
We
first
just
off,
got 4.2.
no, we got 4.0.2.
That's what.
Right.
Okay.
But anyways, so we just got that. You're right. Um, it's going to be with Evocati for at least a month because think about all the bugs they're still working with and they're still trying to sort out. I have a feeling we're going to get a 4.0.3, which is more bug fixes. I feel like the
Fair.
4.0 the 4.0 patch is just going to be nothing but bug fixes. So we'll have a 4.0.3, 4.0.4
I
until they
wouldn't
feel
hate
they've
that.
fixed enough bugs to introduce a new system.
I hope they do that. I would rather more bug fix patches before they implement this type of shit.
Oh yeah, because I mean, let's talk about the implications of this implementation. There we go.
There it is.
Of potential bugs, right? So let's see. We joked about some of them where we're like, okay, I'm gonna respawn with everything, and then we talked about I'm gonna respawn with nothing, and if I go down there, I can't interact with it because why? It's locked. It treats me as a different person.
What about the dead man switch? What happens when all of a sudden things get bugged and all of my stuff gets dead man switched and it's not supposed to be? And now I
Look,
have a fucking gun that's switched and it's like mine.
the dead man switch, okay? The dead man switch is a placebo effect, right? As long as the Bob knows that they have pressed the switch and in their mind they're comfortable knowing the fact that they have blocked that person, that mean person that took their gear from using it ever again, and the guy's like, huh, he must not have pushed the dead man switch. Oh well, I'm gonna keep using it.
Yep. Yep.
But so that's it's placebo effect for that one. I can go for that bug. Because quite
No, but I'm
honestly,
talking about for me. What happens when my gun gets dead man switched and it's my gun and it just dead man switches on its own. Nobody pressed
oh,
a button. I never caused a dead man switch. Just my guns in my inventory just start dead man switching.
Or what if you reacquire the gun from the person that took it? Does your
in the
dead man
middle,
switch go away?
Good question.
no, you got to
The
pay a
dead
fee,
man switch is only
remember?
for electronic components only. It's not for guns, by the way.
What's up?
They're not gonna dead man switch a fucking knife. They're not gonna dead man switch a weapon.
Oh
Like,
no,
Well,
no,
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 they
no,
will
no. They're
dead
talking
man
about
switch
all
weapons. That is
items.
exactly what they said.
All
that's
items.
ridiculous.
I
Yep,
was
all
saying, I don't know
items.
if you were here while we were going over
No, I
this,
was
but
making burgers.
This is
Sorry.
why I'm so
no, yeah,
against it.
looting. Here, listen to this. Looting and bricked items. Once an item is looted, it remains useful until the original owner reclaims it or marks it as stolen. At that point, a dead man switch is activated, meaning it will cease to function after a period of time.
Anything. And we were kind of speculating as to what that item would do when Dead Man Switch is activated. Like, what would a core armor piece do if it's Dead Man switched?
You take full damage.
Yeah,
See,
does it like? Can I not put anything back on the armor? Like the mag slots are in equipable, you know?
I mean,
And
I
like
can see that
there's
happening.
and this is just like that's one of the bugs I could think that comes with the dead man switch. Like there could be bugs that come with like registering your stuff and like you could pay to register your stuff and it doesn't register. It just takes your money. How many times have we gotten our money taken for not getting the thing we paid for in the game? Millions of fucking times.
But no, I don't know what you're
You go
talking
register
about.
your kit, you go die, you don't get any of it back. You're like, I registered it. I know I did. You go back and you check your fucking recording, your video. If you were recording, you see you have the proof. But no, they just took
Oh,
your
and then
money.
you put in a ticket to CIG because you did most assuredly do it, and you have video evidence of it, and they're gonna send you an auto response saying sorry.
Yep.
We're
You get it back
experiencing
in
certain
5
feature
months.
glitches right now. Please try again.
That's why for me, like, it's gonna suck for the people who want to loot and who are loot whores. Like, I mean, like people like Stompy's the same type of person. Stompy gets kitted and goes out. He's only looting people for maybe a potential needed item. He's not going out and like, okay, I need to make sure I find some P4 mags. He's got the mags he needs. The only
Yep.
time he might get a weapon is if he needs it or as the space for a extra. You know,
It is
like
valuable.
See,
if you're not a loot whore, this shit isn't going to affect you as much.
I'm always the person that if I have the ability, first things first. Right now, in In the way that the game is, we can no longer just open an inventory, take their shit, and throw it into a magical vault, right?
Yeah.
We can't do that anymore. Now we have to carry it out, but there's certain areas that we can't use tractors or other forms of carry. Now we have to rely on a
Yeah.
backpack that physically holds the stuff, physically, um, and we have to backpack it out. If it doesn't fit in the backpack, we can't carry it.
Yeah.
Which, okay, fine. That's what we're in right now. So right now, even now, people aren't even picking up gear unless they're going in, dropping off their gear, coming in naked and picking up the gear that's on the ground, which is something that I would do sometimes. But
Yeah,
generally
but like,
speaking, if I've already got an objective down in the contested zone, I'm going to the end. I'm not stopping for someone's gear. So what do we do instead? We take it off their body and we put it into inaccessible places like down into icy areas where we know they're going to die if they go down into it, or up high where they can't reach it. Like, we're just absolute dicks about it. They'll never get it back and we're never going to use it, so big deal. But what I will take is weapons. I'll take weapons because even naked, they can pick up their weapon and they can shoot us in the back with
Become a
it.
threat.
Right?
that's
So
true.
I will backpack their weapon, or I'll throw their weapon in a place they can't access it, so they can't come up behind us. They have to bring something new. So right now in contested zones, we're already throwing kits away.
Yeah.
We're only taking the things that we are going to need later, and in most cases, it's just weapons. But we can't even do that in the Tier 0 implementation, or even the Tier 1 implementation. It's not
Well,
till
and even
Tier
in the
2 that
tier
we can
2
use it.
implementation, yeah, but only still for a limited time, because that deadman switch will persist into tier 2. And so if they so choose it and your item becomes bricked, then you will no longer have to be able to do it. So in a contested zone, they've hit it and you're in the contested zone for a long period of time, or you're at like a hangar, a asteroid base. Now you're just going to have to be like, all right, I'm going to throw this in the backpack and I'll take it with me later to dismantle or restore it, what I choose to do with it.
Yeah, and
But that goes
dismantling will.
into,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just going to
No,
say that
you.
dismantling will always be my choice because I'd rather
Yeah.
have the materials to make what I want rather than the item. And in except for the exception that Acid Puff outlined earlier, which is unless it's an extremely rare item such as a missile launcher, a rocket launcher, sorry, same thing,
Railgun.
a railgun or a grenade launcher.
Yeah.
That was the second thing I meant to say. So, go ahead.
But I think this will teach players too more about how like they should progress. Like you were saying, like if there's an op, like people aren't going to be walking around to loot because they're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to loot half the shit. Like they're not going to need to as well because they're going to be able to have the ability to just come with what they need most of the time. So it's going to force people into a more task oriented, like focused mindset to where they drop down on the ground and they're like, okay, here's what we're doing the plan. They're not like running around and like, oh, does that guy? Can you tell me if a guy has Carnamags? I need Carnamags. Like that's going to be, those people are going to be less and less and less and less because
Yeah.
it'll force them into this path of like you got to be kidded, and you will have to be kidded because everyone will be. So going out white suited. And like you'll only do that to be a distraction. Like right now, you can go out white suited and you might get lucky and like knock some motherfuckers out and stuff. But like I think more and more, it's just everyone's gonna be fucking kidding. You'll never see fucking white suits again.
Yeah, that could very well be the case, and I partially look forward to it and partially kind of fear it, but who knows? It could be good, it could be bad. I think we're just gonna have to roll with the punches on this one, unfortunately.
Change is weird,
So,
especially in this game, because it's not always what we think.
Not always what we want or need.
Yeah, that too. That too.
it's the change we never asked for that we never wanted to begin with. Um, all right, there was something else I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember what it is now. Did you, during your guys' play this last week, is there something that came up that you think is something we should definitely point a
Well, in
finger at?
regards, I will point a good finger at CAG because like we definitely bashed them a lot on this shit, and like I always like to at least acknowledge some good things. They fucking fixed the elevators. They did it. Okay, like 4.0.2 came out and they fixed the biggest fucking problem we had in 4.0.1, and they fucking fixed it.
This
So
isn't the
thank you.
first time. This isn't the first time the elevators have been broken before. They fixed this
I don't
before,
I
and
don't
then they
care.
broke
It's
it, and then they
fixed.
fixed it,
It's
and then they broke it,
fine.
and they fixed it.
I'll be mad when it's broken again, and I'll thank them when they fix it again. But they fixed it, and like we can play again,
Yes,
and so
we
that's dope.
finally
Now fix the fucking hanger.
look,
Stop making me break my fucking hanger now. That's the new problem. Fix that
right?
shit.
Here is the other thing. To go with your elevator situation.
Mm-hmm.
In the event that they break the elevators again, give us fucking stairs. An emergency ladder hatch. I don't care. Something.
Give
The
us
only
Give me
issue
escalators,
is
because
give
with
me a way
how
to go
escalators
the
never
between
break.
floors that doesn't require the elevator.
they'd have to restructure the entirety of each base, though.
Not necessarily. I've seen
'Cause a
how
lot of
their
those
internals
elevators
laid
move
out.
diagonal and shit.
They do. They are magical elevators, as they've talked about many times, especially during the base building feature. Did you, when they're talking about stations, remember how they go, by the way, no magical elevators. It's actually real space, guys. What a concept! Can you do it with your own goddamn stations, please?
Dear God, please.
Oh, you know what? I do have something. Something that has really been pissing me off. Okay? Hangars. You brought up hangars. I'm going to bring up the other side of the hangar. You have a problem with stuff in the hangar. I have a problem getting in and out of the hangar. I'm going to go to a station that has 12 hangars. Exterior, visual on the station. There are doors there, and there. Okay? There's at least 4 or 5 small hangars, maybe 6. And guess what? Everyone uses the same goddamn door. I'm in a line of 3, 4 fucking people trying to get in through the same door. And during an event like what we have going on right now, mind you, it's not as bad for me because I have friends to protect me, but there are those that don't, and we prey on them. For lack of better
Shamelessly.
words.
Shamelessly.
Make friends, you
No, just a little bit of shame, but
fucks.
only so much that it gives a little tingle in the back of our consciousness. The rest of it is just out the window.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, they have one that they are literally forcing people through one funnel. The hangar is a bottleneck. They have hangar upon hangar upon hangar upon hangar in this instanced area. It's a single play space behind a single door that they can come and go through. And instead of going and picking a different door to attach the hangar to, it picks the same damn door. The play space, the physical play space in the station, they're all overlapped each other. They're all overlapped with each other in the same area, right? The only one that I've ever seen work both doors is the extra large hangar, and sometimes the large hangar. But the mediums and the smalls, it's the same damn door every time. You know which one to pull up to because it never fucking changes. CIG,
True.
fucking make all of them work. Is it that hard?
They used to.
If it's that hard, tell us why. Put out a video on it. Tell us the difficulty of making an instance area work with all the damn doors of a station. I don't see the difficulty in it. Now, mind you, I'm also not a coder, so if there's a problem, let me know about it. I will be understanding. The rest of the community, maybe not, but at least I will. That's one person.
Yeah, if they would just have more communication on okay, like if they would just acknowledge the problem, be like, hey, we know that this is a thing, so we're definitely aware.
Yeah.
Like even if they just said they were aware, it'd be like because half the time you don't know, like, do they know this problem's going on? Like they must, right? Like that's how our brains work. Like because surely they know this is an issue. Like, and if they would just say like, yeah, we know this is an issue, then you could be like, yeah, they know it's an issue.
I'm sure they
You'd
know,
still be
but
like,
don't call me
well, you
Shirley.
fucking work on it, but.
But anyways, that's the end of my rant to kind of open the topic. So yeah, let's I mean, what are your thoughts? Am I out of place? Is it something that you
What?
think should be easy? Like
CIG is like a bad girlfriend. Something's always wrong, but they won't tell you what it is.
Yeah.
oh,
That's exactly.
that sounds like a typical woman. Something's always wrong, but they won't tell you what it is.
What?
Oh,
what
sorry.
they
That
did
was my misogyny coming out. My bad.
Oh shit! What they
I
did
was gonna say I
wrong
was
is
careful with how I said it.
They fucked up on their design of the stations when they knew that they intended for a huge player base. That's
Well,
what they fucked up.
here's the problem. The interior of their stations, they are about, I don't know, 60% empty space. They could fill that with everything they need, but they're not doing it.
Just
Instead,
make
they're
more fucking
layering it.
hangars. Why are there like 12 hangars at every station? There should be like 50.
Yeah.
Every fucking place should have like 50 fucking hangars. Like what why on earth do they think that far in the world if we had space stations all over fucking space that those space stations wouldn't have like a plethora of fucking hangars? Like have we not learned anything from sci-fi movies? Like 12 like I don't watch sci-fi movies, but I understand that these space stations should have like quadruple the amount of hangars they do.
I can't believe I'm about to do this, but I am actually going to give credit to a game that by far Star Citizen outweighs, but in this one particular aspect, I think they
Don't say
actually
Elite
pull it
Dangerous.
off.
Hmm.
What?
Which
I said, don't say Elite Dangerous.
I am. I'm going to say Elite Dangerous.
it's
Elite Dangerous
always fucking-
Stations. Look, Elite Dangerous Stations, they may look like shit, but guess what? They do really well. Allow people in and out really easily. How? They have a mail slot with one side in, one side out. Do I like the idea? No, I think they could have designed that a little bit better, but guess what? It still fucking works, doesn't it? Right? And when you get in, there's pads there, there, all around the interior, right? That you get to align to and land. Is it all in the same play space? Yes. Is it ideal? No. Can I run into someone else's ship in there? Yeah. Yeah, I can. But for fuck's sakes, make coming and going from a station less painless. Because right now it is painful. Absolutely and utterly painful. And that's all stations, by the way. All stations in both systems.
Yeah.
Stairs, emergency exits, hangars. Fix those. That's all we ask for. Well, that's all I ask for. I don't know about the rest of these guys.
I mean,
I want my Bonnie
yeah, I don't
Merchant
ask
Man.
them just functionality. If things
The Merchant Man.
functioned right, like, and that's right now the only problem. Like the only problem that I really feel like is a huge issue right now that I experience consistent. I would say two of them, and
Merchant
you
Man.
said one of them earlier. But hangars and the elevators inside the hangars, that all encompassing bubble of the hangars at stations, and this might be a part of that, but refueling. And it's not fully hangars because it does the same thing on the pads, but or planet like moonside bases, but refueling. Those are the two biggest
Oh, yeah.
problems right now that I face on a day-to-day basis through the game is the consistency with those. It- Other than that, like things are going, as good as Star Citizen can say it's good. It is good. But like those two are like really, really hard to deal with, especially when it comes to like the hangar breaking. If you've got a small hangar and you break your hangar and it's forever loading at a terminal, you can claim a bigger ship at the top of the station and get a new hangar and it'll fix it. But if you do it the flip side, if you break your bigger hangar, you can't downsize yourself, and so now you fucked yourself at that station. And that's fucking really frustrating, especially for the bigger ship pilots, because as soon as they fuck themselves, they're fucked. For me, like I mostly fly small, so I can always upgrade if I start to fuck some shit up. But if I fuck some shit up on the big one, now I'm fucked there until I swap servers. And I don't want to make everybody in my group swap servers because I can't get a ship at ruin. Like, and we don't, like that's why you bedlog, you come back and you deal with it until everybody has enough problems that we're all collectively like, okay, this server's shit, let's move on.
Right. So there's something else I do want to address as well. Do you guys have any other concerns that you want to address before I move on?
Cruise Luck's too expensive.
7 credits a bottle, yeah. Man, come on, bring it down to 4.
Bro, my
You know it only takes
Well,
them one. It only takes them 1 credit to make. They really don't need to make that much money on it. Come on.
yeah, treat it like Arizona tea, bro. That guy's wholesome,
All right.
Like the Costco hot dog.
So here's the next topic. You ready for it?
hmm
Perseus. Okay, there's been some news swirling around, and it's been out for a little bit, so some people already know about it, but let's talk about it. Okay, so the Perseus has had some leaks about the ship. We know it's in development because the picture on screen right here is a picture of it at CitizenCon 2954, where they put it in the shadow box to suggest that these are the ships they're working on, and they let us guess as to what they are. Clearly, this one, this one is the Perseus. The Perseus is a gunboat bordering on Corvette. Is a Corvette in my personal opinion, but CIG wants to name it different things. So, just as the Hammerhead is a Corvette, by the way. So the Perseus, the rumor is the 2 remote turrets, or was it 3? Yeah, 2. So the 2 remote turrets originally were dual size 3s, right? So that means you had 2 size 3 guns on each turret, and you can remote into them from the bridge, from different seats on the bridge. Rumor has it that they've been upgunned, and the rumor is that they are upgunned to quad size 4s. Essentially, they have put hammerhead turrets on the ship. I'm gonna
Well, that's
ask the
kind of
question.
badass.
I'm gonna ask the question: overpowered or no?
Nah, nah. It's a gunship, right? Isn't that its fucking thing? It's a big
It
ass
is,
gunship. Yeah, it should have
right?
big fucking guns.
Don't call it
So,
a gunship. CIG's gonna nerf it.
sorry, heavy
Yeah,
gunship.
you're right. It's just ship. It should have big fucking guns.
Anyways, so I agree. If you look at the hammerhead, which by the way, they are roughly the same size, okay? If you look at the hammerhead versus the let's go to let me just pull up a picture real quick so I can get size comparison. Nope, not that one. Not that one. Oh, I do want the hammerhead though. Come back. That one. My my web browser is struggling right now because I don't have the hardware acceleration turned on because I like to share my screen for movie night.
Is there another server maintenance going on tonight? No way.
Okay.
I do know that they've consistently said they're going to be, or they've said they're going to be consistently doing more of them. I don't know where their announcements are, but
Oh, I just see
So-
Google Chat doing that unless it's equivalent of like a 30K.
maybe.
So the Perseus is 100 meters long.
The-
Okay.
Perseus?
The Perseus is 100 meters long. The hammerhead is, it'll give me 115. 15 more meters in length. Not a huge difference. So they are literally, with the exception of 15 meters in length, the exact same size, roughly the same footprint. That being said, the hammerhead has 6 quad turrets. 6. 1 top, 1 bottom, then 2 on each side. Really beautiful ship in my personal opinion. I really love the hammerhead. I think it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Giving the Perseus 2 of those, plus its 2 size 7s, I think is not overkill. I think that is an appropriate upgun. Some of the community thinks that it's too much. Others think that it's not enough. I am of the camp of it's perfect. I think that is something to bring the ship more in line with where it needs to be, and I now would consider it something to put in my lineup of fleet ships.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, I wouldn't have because there wasn't enough firepower for anti-fighter prevention. Now there is. But it's in that weird multi-role of it's designed to punch up, but it still needs protection. And those 2 remote quad 4 turrets is enough to protect it. Here's the other controversial thing. And I'm not quite sure where I stand on this just yet. I mean, I kind of know. But the other controversial thing is they're going to be adding 4 size 1 PDCs. That means 2 top side, 2 bottom side. I think that might be too much. If they were to add PDCs, I think it should be 2, 1 top, 1 bottom. And I think the hammerhead should also get 1 top, 1 bottom. I don't think they should both get 2 top, 2 bottom. Now they haven't even touched the hammerhead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say for PDs, like I don't hate a bunch of PDs on a ship if they dial back like the strength of PDs.
Yeah.
Like in the way that PDs work now, those numbers I agree. Like 4 outrageous. But if like they dialed it back and like they weren't as consistent as shooting down projectiles, maybe they did like maybe they had a higher spread when shooting, you know what I mean? Like our guns do. Maybe they had more spread, things like that. If they would change some of that, then maybe that many isn't as bad. But it's just how laser precise they are right now to where like you put one more on a ship and I'm like fuck that. like they're just such an annoyance. And not to mention they're not they don't work right. Like I mean I can't fly near my buddy's Polaris if I'm a hostile guy. And if even if my buddy, if we're both criminals and he's got a Polaris and he's a red criminal and I'm a red fucking Hornet, I can't fly around him because his PDs are gonna fucking shoot me, even if we're in party. And
That's because
that
the PDs
is
are tied to station turret. Basic whatever they do to station turrets, the PDs now have the same functionality. It's the same mechanic.
yeah. And they need to fix that. Like there's too many problems with PDs. So right now, like if they didn't change them and they put that out with that many PDs, that's outrageous. If they fix them and it comes out with that many and it's not as crazy, okay. Can
Yeah,
do.
I mean the thing is they got lazy. They go, "Hey, let's add some PDCs to these capital ships." I don't know whose wise idea it was. I know the community wanted them, but the community always wants more and more AI power aboard their ships so they can fly it solo.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with that. I joined this game because I already flew a ship solo. It's called EVE Online, and I wanted to fly a ship with a crew, not with more computer shit,
Yeah.
right? I want a ship with a crew, and I want a ship with a crew to be meaningful. I want it to be impactful. I don't want. All right, if I fly a hammerhead, if people complain that the hammerhead is too powerful, that's because it's fully manned. If I'm gonna fly it solo, it's not powerful at all. It's the biggest
Yeah.
waste of space you could ever possibly imagine. But if I have all 6 guns manned, yeah, that thing is a fucking beast. You shouldn't be able to get near it without dying.
Yeah. I mean, that's in like I say that about Connie's. I preach that about as simple as that fucking ship. As soon as I recognize that there's turrets or a turret and a Connie, I treat it differently. And like because that as soon as that turret's on there, it's much more of a threat because there's an entire degree, like an entire field of view that now that ship has on me that it didn't if it was soloed. And
Yeah.
that changes the whole dynamic. And even as a ship that's just 2 guns on a turret, if it's just one of those turrets, like the crew matters. And people are going to be really upset when an AI crew comes out and then they run in their fully AI crewed Polaris, they run into a fully real player crew Polaris, and that fully player crew Polaris just annihilates them. They're going to be like, well, it's not fair that my AI crew doesn't stand a chance against real players. Which, of course, it's not fair. It's real fucking players. Like that's the whole fucking point. But they're gonna
Make some
bitch about that.
friends.
Yeah, like go make
Make
friends. Go play the
make
game with
friends.
friends. If you want a solo experience, go play a solo
I
game,
can't.
or
But
be
Acid, I
okay
can't make
with.
friends. I can't make friends because they always stab me in the back. Those
I've
aren't
never met
friends.
one person in this game that has stabbed me in the back. So like I don't know what those people are fucking doing. I've made a lot of friends in this game and they've never stabbed me in the back, nor I them.
Sorry. Sorry, I was reading global chat, my bad.
Right, yeah. But
But
if you're a solo player, at least be okay with that you're a huge target and you are at a you're at a disadvantage. Like that's okay as a solo player, and like I feel like any of us who go out and when we do something on our own, we know like, oh well, yeah, I'm by myself. Like this, I knew this could have happened. You know, like that's that's what we kind of we get that. But like too many solo players don't want to live in that mindset of like, well, I'm solo, but that's why it's harder for me to get around. They don't accept that. They're just like, no, cater to me, me, me. I'm solo player, so it should be easier for me because it's hard for me. Everybody is all entitled when it comes to
What?
non
Entitlement.
PvPers.
No, we don't have entitlement here.
Well, it's because the PvPers in the game, they want everything to work out so it's engaging for all of us so they have more to do. Like PvPers don't want mining to be shit. We want mining to be good so that way we have more reason to like more people to go out and hunt. And you know that way more people play the game so there's more interaction. Like
I
you never
100%
see a
agree.
PvPer criticize a salvager for their style of gameplay, but a salvager always calls you like a child or an imbecile or bashes you for how you choose to play the video game when it's not according to the way they like it. But I don't hate on salvagers. Like I might call y'all Bob, but like I'm not gonna in global chat attack you for your choice in gameplay just because I don't like doing it.
Although
Like eh,
your choice in gameplay is also inherently associated with your gender or your political views.
apparently too, you know,
Yeah.
that's yeah. It's like, oh, you killed me. Oh, you pirated me. You must be a fucking North Korean. Like, why?
We have seen some of the most outrageous claims in chat from just killing someone,
That's why
including
I just lie to them. I just
the
gaslight them.
funniest
They
one.
don't know who you really are.
I mean, we will be living out of gaslight, so that makes sense. The funniest encounter that I think we've had actually was we had one guy making an argument purely on the definition and not actually trying to say that we are one thing or the other. And it's like, okay, all right, fine. And then like we finally called him out and he's like, all right, I'll be there. He's like, what are you in? I was like, I can pull out a Larry. And they're like, a Larry, what's that? That's what we call a Polaris. He's like, oh, bet. I got something for that. I, dude actually showed up. Credit to him.
Yeah,
I,
came
I
from
actually,
Pyro all the way to Grimhex.
I kid you not. If you are that person, you see this, come join us. We want you. We love
Yeah,
that personality. Um, but anyways, I digress. He actually came, and there was a Larry on the field. It wasn't mine, but I was hiding next to it, and he got obliterated.
and you know
But
sometimes that happens.
but his comment afterward was priceless because it wasn't a cursing us out. It wasn't this or that. It wasn't calling us one name or another. It was, oh shit, I wasn't ready. Let's try again. I was like, all right,
Yeah, like
bet,
okay.
go for it. We'll be here. So, hats off to that guy. If you were that
Wish I
guy,
remembered
you
his
know who
name.
you are. Yeah, you know, I don't remember his name either. I
I just know he was in a Guardian.
uh-huh.
Yep, that's all I know.
Best damn personality ever. And I love to see more people like that in the verse. I love to see
Absolutely.
I mean, not the whole like standing on definition part. I mean, when they started standing on definition, then we started like literally doing the most stupidest shit to like be like, all right, now we're this person by definition.
Yep.
We go and we kill someone, then we go up to their corpse and we take one item off of them, be like, see, we're pirating. We're
See,
not murder
look at
hobos
me.
anymore. All right. It's all part of the game, guys. If you're not playing to have fun, then don't play. If you're there to try and prove a point, if you're there to try and hide from the world, if you're there to think that you're the only one out in the verse, guys, don't play. Go play something else. Go play Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Yeah, go play Red
Um,
Dead Redemption and go camping in the mountains. It's fun.
no, they can't handle Red Dead. The NPCs are too rough on them.
The bears are OP, and I want to be able to camp without getting attacked by a bear because that wouldn't happen in real life. I wouldn't just get attacked by a bear without getting a notification that a bear is in my area.
I shouldn't have to carry bear spray everywhere I go.
Yeah. It's not how it really is. I have a friend who lives in Alaska. He knows.
Yep. But if you're gonna be lighthearted, if you're gonna come and have fun, even if it's to be a dick and have fun, I can accept that. I really can. If you're gonna be out there for the pure enjoyment of playing, whether that be mining, refining, fighting, salvaging, I don't care what you do. We don't care what you do. We do all of it, by the way.
Yeah. Dude, I data run in my free time. I'm into everything, bro.
Not being able to face tank a bear is some kind of soft hands kind of shit. Yeah, exactly. Mageless.
If you're not Davy Crockett in this bitch, then who are you?
In Mother Russia, you do not make fuck with Russian tank bear. Russian tank bear make fuck with you. Anyways, I digress. I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. We are at 9 p.m. my time, which means it is 11 p.m. Eastern, and we are at the end of our time. So
We're wrapping
guys,
up. We're gonna practice safe podcasting.
we are, yep, we're wrapping
Okay.
it. We're gonna practice safe podcasting, and then we're gonna get into it once we get off.
Sounds good.
Wait, maybe you get into it, then you get off?
Maybe at the same time. Maybe you get in and off.
No, those are the ones you want to avoid because they're just not pleasurable. Wait, hold on, what are we talking about?
Maybe you get
Oh,
off
Omega,
in.
nothing. No, everything's fine, Omega. Sorry.
It's fine. Get your pants
Anyways,
on.
thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be doing this again next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to hit the like. If you feel that we deserve it, make sure to hit that follow button and ring the bell icon so you'll be notified next time we go live. Although I keep telling you every video that it's 9 p.m. Eastern on every Wednesday, so you should already know the schedule. It's really quite simple to follow. We don't make it very
Excuse me.
complex here because we're not very complex, and it's hard for even us to follow it sometimes. So, yeah, I guess that bell icon is useful after all. Go ahead and do those things, and we will see you next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Till then, thanks for following us, whether you've been staying through the entire stream as it is, or if you watch it in the past. Make sure to put some comments down below. If you have differing opinions, we are happy to hear them. If you also feel like we're in the right, if you feel that we have made some comments here that you also agree with, put those down below. We like to know who's in line with us as well. Make sure that we're not just out here tooting our own horns. I think that applies.
Oh, you
think.
horn tutor.
My kids love it.
Or no one.
Wait, that sounded wrong. I'm gonna retract that. Anyways, till next Wednesday, we will see you then. Thanks for
Bye.
sticking around. Bye.
Bye.
And we're clear.
Out where the bobs don't show their face, we built a home in this hectic space. No law to bind us.
Honestly,
no chain will
I think your
hold
input
us
on this one would have been nice, but no.
That's worth more than
Did you see the link? Did you read through it?
we fight side by side.
Yeah.
Never alone. The verse is harsh, but we've made it our
Is it?
own. Through fire and
Are you sure?
wreckage,
No, just
through
mine.
thick and thin,
Is it yours?
victory is owed to loyalty and
Are you sure?
discipline.
It is just mine.
And steal our lives we stake. Committed to the cause, no bond will break.
Well, fuck me, I guess.
As one, we'll never fall.
Guys, I swear I don't say anything secret about you guys behind the scenes.
Here we're free.
Let me fix this.
Price is steep. It's blood and steel where the strong don't sleep. No tricks can buy what we've earned in the black. The scars we carry we won't give back. Through every fight, through every war. like a king in the night. With Hellstern's crew, we're ready to fight. It's not just the wrecks or the spoils we seek, it's the loyalty that makes us strong, not weak. With blood and steel, our lives we stake. Committed to the cause, no bond will break. We fly as one, we'll never fall. In Hellstern's name we answer the call. Out here we're free, but the price is steep. It's blood and steel where the strong don't sleep. Thrown the fire of battle, we find our way. Where others fall, we choose to stay. It's not just ships, it's not just pride, it's the brotherhood where our strength resides. Wester's our fields bright and space so dark. We light our way with a burning spark. For every ship we tear apart, it's the trust in Hellstern that beats in our hearts. We're bound not by law, but by trust and blood. Forged in battle through the thickest mud. When the verse pushes back, we stand as one. Hellstern's crew won't ever run, will never run. With blood and steel, our lives we stake. Committed to the cause, no bond will break. We fly as one, we'll never fall. In Hellstern's name we answer the call. Out here we're free, but the price is steep. It's blood and steel where the strong don't sleep. With blood and steel we'll claim our rights. The price we pay for futures bright. With Hellstern's might we seize our place as sovereign lords throughout this space.